change my name?
I changed mine too.
Dad reads. I get it. Steve's World of Literature. I like it. Yeah, I'm not on the other account, so it's. I was like, I just saw it. So,
welcome in everybody. What is this? I keep getting a little. Anyway, welcome in everybody. Happy Tuesday. Yeah, it's just Tuesday. God, it feels like it should be Thursday by now.
Don't rush too many days in life. We need to slow down a little bit.
Anyway, welcome in everybody. Good to see you. Welcome to the Tuesday Night Book Club. Or it feels like it's going to be novel club tonight because it's
Chris has more than 3 pages to read tonight.
Yeah. Hope everybody's had a good day. Thank you for joining us. Yes. We're going to welcome the chat, and I got some stuff in the mail today.
Ooh, let's watch. Let's see. Go and chat fast before they all get here. Go.
Let's do it. It's been jumping. Welcome in. First place goes to Happy's Haunt. Second place goes to T. Marie's Place. And third place to Shelby Johnsey. In a photo finish, it was Stacy Rogers and Kenneth H. Welcome in, everybody. Debbie Bernfeld's here. Movie Nick, welcome in. Disneyland fan. Hello, hello. Let's see. We got scrolling. Nick, Kenneth, Mara in Memphis. There's my snickerdoodle. The Jasmine to my Aladdin. The Trinity to my Neo. The what was the redheaded? What was
Reba McEntire?
No, the redhead, the wildling to my Jon Snow because I know nothing.
Oh, Ingrid or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Ingrid or Ingrid.
Yeah. There's Snickerdoodle. Hello, Angela Mentor. Good to see you, dear. Paul Ingalls here, 100 Acre Wood. Welcome in. So I got Kenneth, I got Debbie, I got Joy S. Welcome in, Joy. Hello. County Rathburn. Welcome in, Connie. Good to see you. Let's see. It's jumping and it's scrolling and it's Chris Dye's here. Tim Rimple. What's up, buddy? Good to see you. Nicole, I got Chris Jebmar. Connie is. Hold on. I'm catching up. Sparkly Peak Diamonds is here. Mandy V, welcome in. Mark Langenkamp, hello. So Mark and everybody's saying hello to everybody, and I got to catch back up. Nathan's here. Welcome in, Nathan. Wendy B, good evening. Howdy. And did we get everybody? Did I get you? I think we got them all. Yeah. Howdy. See, Kenneth says, I hope everybody in chat is waving back at the. I appreciate it. Very much. What did Wendy say? Not getting off that easy. Say hey to me. Sorry, gotta be ninja. I'll be back. Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Doesn't Jon Snow shoot her with an arrow and kill her?
No.
Or is it Ollie?
I thought it was the other girl.
The other girl.
I can't remember.
Man, I thought it was John.
I was trying to think of just a good.
She said this. She dies because of him.
Oh, well, I'll take that one back. Welcome in, Angela, my dear. No, it's not the multiverse of books, Stacy. It's just.
And I didn't choose the name either.
That's true. So I got something in the mail today from our good friend Kenneth H.
Kenneth H.
Yeah. Kenneth was recently had a trip down to the most magical magical place on earth.
Did I met the whole H family?
You did. He sent me back a couple, three pins here, Steve.
Ooh,
Yeah.
what do we get?
He sent me 2 in the Marvel comic first appearance series.
Ooh,
The first appearance of Groot, and then
that's interesting.
Oh.
I do like the writing on the inside of that when you open it up.
Yeah, I do too, and it tells you the comic book and issue and year of it. So that got the Groot. I like that one. And a lot of people don't know this, but when Groot was first introduced, Groot actually spoke. It wasn't just "I am Groot." He actually talked.
I am Groot.
Yeah. The second one he got me, I really I kind of nerd geeked out over this one.
Oh jeez.
This is the first appearance from the Avengers of Ultron.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I understand why you geeked out on that one.
I like that one. So, yeah. Got those 2, and then he told me he was sending a surprise one. He had sent me the picture of those 2. Egret is the name of the girl. Thank you, Joy. Thank you. I'm just going to say she's living a very happy life right now. She ended up marrying him in real life. So the girl that played Egret.
She married Kit?
And Kit Harington. Yes, they actually married in real life.
That's dumb.
So, the second pin that he sent me is a limited edition. I saw a picture of it, and I'll tell you, this pin is much cooler in person. But it's for the 60th anniversary of the Avengers, and it's like a come on, focus, dang you, come on. It's like a collage. It's not wanting to focus.
Oh, I saw that pin. That's cool.
It's got like Hulk, Iron Man. It won't focus for me.
So cool.
Cap, Thor, Black Panther, Captain Marvel, Black Widow, and it little banner across the bottom that says I read it earlier, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, and then the date 1963 when they first appeared. Limited edition of 4,300.
Nice.
I really like it. It's a pin on pin, so it's kind of a, if you can see there. So
yep,
I like that one.
It's a good pin.
Yeah. So thank you, Kenneth, very, very much, sir. That did brighten my day.
Kenneth's all right.
Kenneth said, I saw that in Epcot, and it said, I belong with Chris.
It did indeed. Does indeed.
Chris S., welcome in. Good to see you. So, yeah, I really appreciate that, Kenneth. That was nice. Got some more pictures of the new dog that will be coming this weekend.
Ooh.
So he had his vet appointment today and all checked out. So yeah.
How old?
That's a good question. I don't know. I didn't ask that question. Let's ask that question. How old is Obi?
Biscuit. What's his name?
Obi.
Oh, that's
like
right.
Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
I'm
actually going to call him Biscuit a few times.
This is.
Oh, here he is. Look at that. What they got him in doggy jail? Is that a handcuff thing with that green thing?
No, it's like his little vest.
Oh, they were dressing
He's all
him.
curled up.
Oh.
So, yeah. So we'll wait to find out how old. Are you getting a dog this weekend? No, Christine Hickman, welcome in. No, not me, Mar. The boy child
should be you. Should be you getting the dog.
How old is
You should abide by your father's wishes and get the dog.
boy child's puppy? Yeah, it's the boy child's. He I called him after I got off work, Steve. And
Yeah.
I was like, how's the doggy doing? And he's like, fine. He said, I took him to the vet today, and that kind of hurt. I was like, really? He's like, yeah, he had that shots and checked for heartworms, and they checked him to see if he had a chip and this and that and all this other stuff. I said, did everything check out? He's like, yeah, it's all good. It just really hit the wallet hard.
Yep.
But I guess you got to do it. I said, yeah, it gets that like that when you have kids. And he kind of chuckled.
Yep. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Welcome to the real world, son.
Exactly. Jeanette Sebastian the Crab, welcome in. Good to see you. That's true, Mandy V. Vet bills are always painful.
And
Always got to answer. He is 6 to 7 years old.
6 to 7 years?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I thought it was a puppy.
I did too. Yep. Joey DeLuca, welcome in. Good to see you, Joey. All right, so we've got a lot of reading to do. We weren't here last week because I had a headache and Steve was traveling. So we are picking up on chapters 5 and 6 of A Whole New World, a Twisted Tale story that we've been reading. We had got up to the point of Aladdin and Jasmine meeting at the market, and then going back to Aladdin's pad.
Oh. Let me show you my crib.
Exactly. And then being found by the royal guard, and then Jasmine unveils who she is, tries to get Aladdin released, and Razul says that he can't release him because he's been wanted by Jafar.
Yep.
And we had our first appearance of Jafar.
Yep.
So that kind of catches us up to where we are tonight. The chapter 5 is the Cave of Wonders. So this may be where we start to get our twist.
Yep. Well, this one and the next chapter, these two chapters are where we start to find the twist. So
yeah,
it's gonna be fun.
He was going to show her a whole new world, and then they got interrupted.
Oh man, that's terrible.
That's true, Kenneth. Thank you, Mars. Since she doesn't unveil, she keeps her clothes on and reveals. Yes, she revealed who she was. Thank you. For better words than what I said, I guess.
She took off half her clothes. It was the drapery or whatever it was.
The hood. Whatever. So it's okay, Kenneth. Biden did, yeah. So we're going to get started because we've got a lot to get through tonight. And here's hoping that, the boy child replied, yes, 6 or 7, we think. Okay. So, so he hasn't, no, we haven't got to the lamp yet. And we're just now getting to the cave, apparently. So, here we go. Starting with chapter 5. Brace yourselves. It's a long one tonight. If there was a moon or a sun in the sky, it didn't matter at all. Underneath the tallest tower in the palace was the deepest pit in Agrabah, the bottom of which was lit by a single torch. No sunlight, moonlight, or starlight had ever touched its depths. The bottommost chamber had been excavated in the dead of the black night by workers who were then murdered and buried under the very stone steps that helped lay to preserve the secrets of the palace dungeons. There was only one door that led in. It was windowless and triple hinged. Beyond it were a dozen skeletons that shackled to the wall, left there even after they had decomposed like a forgotten detail in a fairy tale. Scurrying around there were rats that had never seen the light of the sun and probably had something to do with the creation of the skeletons. Aladdin had only been there for a few hours and hadn't quite let the obvious finality of the place get to him yet. He was still shocked by the events that had led up to his being there. The princess, he muttered to himself for the 40th time. I can't believe she was the princess. I must have sounded so stupid to her. But maybe, just maybe, she liked him. A little? And for a moment, in the chilly, foul-smelling dungeon where he was chained, Aladdin let himself dream of the life he would have if he was a prince. Then they could be together. He could have the girl of his dreams, and they would live happily ever after. Of course, the fact that she was the princess was the reason he was in the dungeon. It was obvious. His imprisonment had nothing to do with the bread he had stolen. Somehow Jafar had seen them, had known a street rat was coming close to desecrating the royal daughter. Wow. Leading her into a little life of poverty, crime, and villainy, and had stopped it. Oh, she was worth it, though, Aladdin sighed, thinking about her eyes, remembering the soft warmth of her hand. For a moment, he had touched greatness. Wow. The tiny echoes of chittering interrupted his thoughts. Abu? He asked, incredulously looking up. Very faintly, he could see the tiny shadow of the monkey as it hopped from beam to beam, from stone to stone, while he made his way down to the bottom where Aladdin was. Down here, Aladdin said excitedly. Abu dropped onto his shoulder. The boy petted him as best he could by rubbing his head into Abu's furry belly. Hey, boy, I'm glad to see you. Turn around. After enjoying a few moments of their cuddly reunion, Abu did as directed. Using his teeth, Aladdin carefully extricated a needle he had pinned into Abu's little vest for an occasion such as this. The little monkey wasn't just a distraction while Aladdin swiped things. The two had many, many other routines they had worked out over the years for getting out of and into trouble. Aladdin turned his head and strained his neck as far as he could, working the needle into the keyhole with his right hand manacle, with his right hand manacle, with his teeth and lips. It was a simple, crude lock. Obviously, if you were thrown to the bottom of the deepest dungeon in the palace, extreme measures weren't needed to keep you there. Which was rapidly bringing Aladdin to the next part of his problem. Once his right hand was free, he easily undid the left. But where was he going to go from there? Abu chittered angrily. Monkeys obviously did not like being underground or in dungeons. It sounded like he was saying he had done his part. Now it was his human friend's turn to figure out the rest. Fast. Yeah, we're going. Let's get away from this palace as fast as we can. I'll never see her again, he said wistfully, more concerned with that than their immediate escape. He thought about how she had looked standing on the rooftop, hole in her hand, the wind blowing tendrils of her hair out of her eyes. She only marry a prince. I'm a fool. You're only a fool if you give up, boy. Aladdin spun around. There was nothing but shadows and rats, but the voice was creaky and weak, human, not ghostly. One of the other prisoners must have had a little life left in him. Who are you? Aladdin called out to the shadows. Show yourself. There was the rattle of chains and the light scuffling sound of something bony and hard against the floor. An ancient man hobbled out of the dark. He seemed barely to have the strength to stand, much less move. There were no manacles binding him. There was a light left in his eyes, a crazy one. Aladdin found himself afraid of the strange specter. I'm merely a lowly prisoner like yourself, the old man continued, revealing that he still had most of his teeth, but they pointed in every direction, thin and yellow with age like toothpicks. He used an ugly old piece of firewood as a cane and forced himself sideways with the shuffling motion of a crab. But together, maybe we can be more. He rubbed his fingers together suggestively as if he was counting gold coins. Aladdin found himself relaxing. A man with this craze of greed in his eyes was something Aladdin was used to. I'm listening, he said. There is a cave of wonders, boy, filled with treasures beyond your wildest dreams. He struck a gnarled hand into his threadbare robe. When he pulled out his closed fist, shoved it into Aladdin's face, and opened it, the boy almost fell back in surprise. Rubies. 3 of them, huge, dusty and old, with the facets of one chipped and in need of hand of a skilled jeweler, but rubies nonetheless. Those 3 would have bought most of the quarter of the street rats and the people who lived there as well. Treasure enough to impress even your princess, I would wager, the old man said with a crafty smile, taking them back and hiding them again. Aladdin felt a wash over his face quickly before disappearing. The rubies. He started to smile. There was more wealth than that was more wealth than he had ever seen up close. Enough to buy horses, fancy clothes, servants, and then his smile widened. Until that moment, Aladdin never would have imagined that limitless treasure wouldn't be enough for him. It doesn't matter how much gold or jewels I get, he said morosely. She has to marry a prince. I have to come from a noble family, a line of princes, or be granted the title and lands, which I can't really see the Sultan doing anytime in the near future. The old man struggled for a moment, frowning and wheezing as some undefined pain bothered him. Then he took a deep breath and stuck his face into Aladdin's. You've heard of the golden rule, haven't you? Whoever has the gold makes the rules. The man laughed, purposely insane. Perhaps he genuinely thought himself funny. Aladdin noticed as the old man's lips were spread wide with mirth that his only healthy looking tooth was gold. All right, Aladdin said cautiously. If it was true, money bought almost anything. All the guards could be bribed to look the other way with enough gold and gifts. All the guards except for Azul, of course. He was like a big, stupid rock of morality. More sultans and kings could be bribed too, or haggled with. Maybe with enough gold, the title of prince could be bought. But why would you share all this wonderful treasure with me? Catches like pretty girls turning out to be unattainable princesses, Aladdin was used to. Free treasure he was not used to and highly suspicious of. I need a young pair of legs and strong back, the man said, tapping Aladdin's legs so solicitously as a camel buyer. Aladdin squelched a sneer of fear. Was the man a sorcerer who meant to literally take Aladdin's back and legs? No, that was foolish, Aladdin told himself, shaking his head. Right? Because the treasure is in a cave in the desert, the man spat. I'm not quite as nimble as I used to be. I need you to go get it for me and bring it out. Now, do we have a deal? Oh, sure, Aladdin laughed. If it wasn't for the existence of the rubies, he would have thought the old man was completely mad. Except one thing. The cave is out there. We're in here. The man cackled. Things aren't always what they seem. He tapped a stone in the wall several times with his cane. It slid aside slowly, grindingly, but somehow under its own power. So I repeat, the old man said, as if enjoying the taste of every word. He put his out. Do we have a deal? Aladdin hesitated. Perhaps the old man really was a sorcerer after all, or an ancient angry jinn. But then again, treasure. Aladdin squared his shoulders, set his jaw, and shook the old man's hand. After he crawled through the narrow space, Aladdin found himself in the pitch black cave. Strange subterranean winds blew frigid one moment and searingly hot the next. The walls suddenly flickered with an evil red light, and a gust of hot air burned the side of Aladdin's face. Abu screamed and clutched Aladdin's neck. The very blood of the earth comes up through here, the old man explained, leading the way with his crabby shuffle. As they rounded the corner, they came upon the source of the flickering red light, a slow bubbling boil of molten rock that burned hotter than the inside of a smithy's kiln. We are deep beneath the palace now, in the living stone upon which it is built. I had no idea anything like this existed, Aladdin said, full of wonder, and also full of ideas. Caves that led under the city and into the palace, that sounded like a very bad security hole. He wondered if there were anywhere near the vaults that were filled with royal gold. Nobody does. Nobody living, that is, the old man cackled. Aladdin again felt the strings of fright, but then what would a ghoul want with treasure? This man was surely alive and secretive and insane. Perhaps it was all an act to protect his secrets. They went on. The old man occasionally mumbled and muttered to himself and made squawking sounds like a bird, having conversations with the long dead, probably. Aladdin noted with interest how very few splits and turnoffs there were, and how smooth the corridors were. Now and then he flickered out his knife to scratch an outcropping or put an arrow on the wall when the old man wasn't looking. Who knew when such a route would be useful again? Listen, boy, the old man said as they went. When you do go down into the Cave of Wonders, you must not touch anything except for the ugly old brass lamp when you find down there. There will be rooms full of gold and chests of rubies and ancient treasures worth 1,000 kingdoms. Touch nothing but the lamp, or you won't come out of it alive. Wait, I'm just supposed to walk by piles of gold? Aladdin scoffed. You promised me riches, grandfather. Imbecile, the old man muttered for just a moment, sounding like someone younger. The lamp gives one power over the Cave of Wonders and its treasures. If you touch anything but it, If you touch anything before it's in your hand, you will die. Bring the lamp to me, and I assure you, you will get what you deserve. If you say so, Aladdin said shruggingly. When they finally arrived at the surface, it was night. The passage ended at a rather inglorious drain hole near where the workhorses and camels were stabled in the backside of the palace, beyond the outer wall. It reeked of animal. Wow. It reeked of animal piss, and Aladdin had to let the old man clamber onto his shoulders to get out. On the bright side, no one was around to see them. Aladdin leapt out and took a deep breath of fresh air. Although the sky was clear, the stars twinkled madly with desert sand and dust that was blown across them. He frowned. Not a good night to go adventuring in the desert, but fortune favored the brave, and he certainly wanted a fortune. He looked at his companion with a critical eye. The old man seemed like he was going to collapse in a pile of bones right there. Aladdin murmured softly to the animals in the stable. He picked out an unflashy, sturdy white horse and lifted the old man onto it. The stable boy who was in charge of this horse will receive 50 lashes for losing him, the old man said, cackling in delight as he gripped the reins. We will be back before dawn if your stories are true, Grandfather, Aladdin said, dislike for his partner growing, and I will tip the poor boy well. In the desert, the wind swirled the sand into choking dust devils, and Aladdin had to cover his face with his vest. His feet kept slipping into the shifting dunes. The horse was slightly more accustomed to the terrain, but whinnied and protested constantly. It was not an easy trip. The old man looked up at the stars. He muttered into the hemp of his back as if confirming his calculations. Eventually, Cyrus rose like the eye of the paleful Ifrit over the chill desert, and they arrived at the solid cliff of bedrock. Below it was a wide bowl, a valley of sand, beautiful in the starlight, but desolate and deadly. There were no plants here, no lizards, not even stray stones. Aladdin helped the old man down off the horse. Muttering and murmuring, the man drew something out of his rags, cupping his hands as if it was alive, as if it was something that might escape. Finally, he spread his fingers and revealed his prize. A golden scarab rested in his palm. At first, Aladdin thought it was a piece of jewelry or a statue, maybe with a treasure map on its back. Then it opened its golden outer wings to reveal a set of flight wings made of gold. It sparkled and glowed and flew into the air with a heavy buzzing sound. Aladdin jumped back. The beautiful, frightening thing flew into the valley with the directness of something not entirely insect-like. It circled around a large mound as if deciding what to do and plunged deep into the sands. Almost instantly, the dunes slid forward into a disturbing way. Something large, something very unnatural, with rippling and rising to the surface. A giant stone head of a tiger, enraged, emerged, moving and growing and tossing like it was alive. Aladdin prepared to run, but no more of the tiger appeared, just the head. It did not seem able to move, just like the body of the Sphinx. Its eyes glowed like twin suns. Who disturbs my slumber? Can't talk anymore, Steve. Who disturbs my slumber? It was hard to see if the words were actually spoken aloud. A ground rumbled, the sky thundered, the tiger roared. Aladdin backed away, almost tripping over his own feet. This was not what he had signed up for. A dangerous trip into a deep, dark cave, yes. A jaunt into the middle of the desert at night, sure. This was too much. There had been no mention of a giant talking stone tiger with the voice of an ancient god. The old man made an impatient go ahead movement with his hands. What? Aladdin demanded. Are you crazy? You want the princess, boy? His companion asked with a sneer. Yes, he did. Aladdin took a deep breath and tried to steady his nerves. It is I, Aladdin, he shouted, feeling more than a little foolish. The tiger was silent for a moment. Aladdin got ready to run for his life. Proceed. The rumbles were softer, as if it was less angry. Touch nothing but the lamp. His mouth opened, revealing a wide golden gullet. Down its tongue revealed a golden staircase. Aladdin couldn't see to the bottom. He took a tentative step forward. Remember, boy, just fetch me the lamp, the old man shouted, unconsciously imitating the tiger. Get me the lamp, and I shall make sure you get your reward. Aladdin thought of Jasmine. He set his jaw. Come on, Abu, he said, and began to go down the steps. The golden stairs very quickly revealed themselves to be disappointingly normal stone, only lit golden by whatever was below. But the sheer number of them was breathtaking. The path dipped and curved through the darkness as far as the eye could see. Several times when Aladdin thought they had reached the end, the stairs began again into a deeper descent. In two, Aladdin was more than a little relieved to see an absolutely enormous normal cave, not a stomach. At the far side of the cave was a somewhat anticlimactic stone doorway that glowed as brightly from whatever was at the bottom was at the room behind it that Aladdin could cover his eyes as he went in. Would you look at that? He said when he passed through the other side, a wide grin growing across his face. Gold. Ridiculous, ludicrous, unimaginable piles of it. Entire hillsides of coins, cups, urns, and statues. Giant golden cauldrons stuffed to overflowing with necklaces, rings, bracelets, and other trinkets. Golden thorns, golden thrones, golden tables, golden bric-a-brac shaped like fruit for no conceivable purpose other than to look at. And among all of this, rugs of indescribable beauty and size and chests full of jewels shaped like berries and flowers. Just a handful of this would make me richer than the Sultan, Aladdin sighed. Abu chittered. Light sparkled on the closest chest, bouncing off the ruby the size of an apple. The little monkey made a beeline for it. Abu! Aladdin ran desperately after the little monkey and did something he never normally would have. He grabbed the monkey's tail and pulled him back. Abu squawked at the indignity and tried to stop himself by digging his hind claws into the rich purple and blue rug they were standing on. Don't touch anything, Aladdin chastised, shaking his finger at his friend. Remember what that big scary cat thing said. Whose stomach we are currently in. We got to find the lamp first. Then we'll get our reward. He plucked the monkey off the ground and set him securely on his shoulder. It's got to be around here somewhere. He wandered the path around the treasures carefully, making certain never to come close to any of them. He kept one hand on Abu just in case. The monkey chittered irritably. I don't know, Aladdin answered as if it was a real question. A little oil lamp, I guess. The old man obviously thought we could carry it out easily. I see cups and pitchers and plates and vases and other housey stuff, but no lamps yet. The monkey chittered again. He sounded nervous this time and kept glancing behind him. Sorry, I'm looking as fast as I can, Aladdin said, continuing their imaginary conversation. It's not like I can touch anything to move it aside. Abu screamed and clawed Aladdin's neck. What is it? Aladdin demanded, turning around to see what was bothering his friend. There was nothing behind them, just the path they were on, and also a carpet that looked suspiciously like the one near the entrance, by the chest. Abu had almost touched it. It even had the same golden tassels, one on each corner. Huh, Aladdin said. He turned around and began walking again. Abu was silent for a good 10 seconds before he began to screech in fear. Aladdin whipped around. Again, nothing except for the carpet, which was right behind them. Again, Aladdin frowned, looking at the thing. As he watched the carpet rise hesitantly off the ground, like a fish or something used to swimming in the air, Aladdin's eyes widened in wonder. A magic carpet, he said with a whistle. Mom used to tell me about bedtime stories about jinn and their magical treasures. He put a hand out for it, delicately, slowly. The carpet responded, sliding forward as if propelled by an invisible breeze. Its rear flipped gently like a flag. Aladdin found himself scratching and ruffling its nape as if it was cat's fur. Good carpet. That's a boy. There's a boy. Good boy. Hey, may we get on you? He asked politely, getting an idea. It would be so much faster to scour the cave from above, gliding among the dangerous piles of gold without needing to get near them. The carpet sensed what he wanted and lowered a little, like a trained elephant getting down on one knee to enable the rider to easily jump up. Aladdin grinned. He stepped on carefully. It was a strange feeling. The rug both gave and held under his feet, like he was walking on a pile of flax waiting to dry. He crossed his legs and settled in, putting Abu in his lap. The monkey was not entirely happy with this turn of events, but since Aladdin didn't seem scared, he remained relatively calm. Whether or not he won the princess, this was the best adventure of his entire life. We're trying to find a lamp, Aladdin said. He felt a bit like an idiot talking to a rug, but then again, the rug was flying. Who knew what it could understand or do? A special lamp. The rug rippled for a moment as if thinking, and then without a sound, it began to drift higher and higher into the air, picking up speed. Soon they were dipping and gliding around the mountains of treasure as easily as an eagle through the clouds. Abu gripped Aladdin's arms until his tiny claws drew blood, but the boy just laughed. Following a series of tunnels and passageways, Aladdin would never be able to remember full the treasure he never forget. They eventually came to a cave even larger than the first one. Aladdin couldn't see the far walls. It all drifted into darkness. The bottom was filled with a lake of perfectly still pellucid water. Yeah, okay. Rising out of the middle was an island made up of boulders that looked like mushrooms, one on top of another, with steps carved right in their middle. At the very top, a single shaft of light from somewhere high beyond sight illuminated a small bronze object, the lamp. The carpet didn't fly to it, however. It gently set itself down on a rocky outcropping on the near wall. A narrow causeway led from there to the mound. An ancient, idolatrous golden shrine guarded the way. Some unknowable god who looked like an ape with too many teeth. It held aloft a ruby the size of an orange, as if it was a lamp lighting the way. All right, here we go, Aladdin said, adjusting his vest and trying to put the image of the angry god out of his mind. Something about this place, whether it was the size, the silence, or something else, kept him from just running across the causeway. Something demanded silence and respect. He found himself walking quickly but carefully, as if he was in a procession he couldn't quite see. He slowly and solemnly climbed up the stone steps on the island. When he finally made it to the top, Aladdin picked up the lamp carefully with both hands. But it was as solid and sturdy as any modern household lamp. Morgiana decorated her hideaway with dozens of these. This is it? Aladdin swore, an incredulous smile on his face. He turned to Abu and the carpet. Look at it, guys. This is what we came all the way down here to. He was just in time to see Abu grab the giant scarlet gem and try to wrest it away from the golden eight god's hands. Abu, no, he cried. Infidels. The very ground itself spoke, the air, the earth. You have touched the forbidden treasure. Aladdin watched in horror as the ruby melted like so much dust in Abu's tiny hands. The monkey screamed as if he was burned and scampered away from the golden statue, which tipped forward, also melting. Now you will never again see the light of day. The light shaft that had illuminated the lamp in gold now turned a bloody red. The cavern began to shake. Aladdin made a beeline down the steps back to the causeway. Stones fell away from under his feet. What had been a stairway quickly dissolved into a ramp, and he slid down, barely keeping his balance as the whole cave shuddered and began to collapse. He pitched forward. A deadly heat hit him from below. He chanced to look down and saw, to his horror, that water no longer filled the bottom of the cave. Now it was all lava. That one look was enough to throw him entirely off balance, as if the cave could sense his instability. A particularly big quake sent Aladdin forward toward the red golden furnace below. Carpet, he cried. Aladdin windmilled, his arms, legs, trying to slow his fall. He felt the heat singe his hairs on his legs and the roar of the molten stone rushing up to meet him, and then the soft, firm cloth of the magic carpet beneath him. He didn't have time to relax. In a panic, Abu had tried to run toward Aladdin and was now stranded on one of the last of the three remaining stones in the causeway. The tip of his tail was smoking. Sensing Abu's need, the carpet dove toward the monkey. Aladdin grabbed Abu by his poor burning tail and swung him aloft. The carpet flew up away from the heat and through the air, picking up speed. A hot wind surged against their backs. Aladdin turned around. The lava was pulled back into a huge rolling wave that rose above their heads, ready to crash down on them. Faster, Aladdin urged. The magic carpet doubled its speed and ducked them through the cavern's doorway. A split second later, the wave crashed behind them. Lava exploded through the door and kept coming, boiling up from some immense pit as if it had no end. They drove through each of the incredible burning caverns for treasures like a falcon hurtling toward its prey. Aladdin and Abu both ducked as the carpet shot through the final door that led to the first treasure room. Aladdin started to sigh with relief, and then the giant piles of gold began to explode. Each priceless heel swirled into a molten pile of fire and ash that shot toward the ceiling and at the carpet. Aladdin helped steer, torn between fear for his life and heartbreak at the destruction that was being wrought there. As the explosions hit the ceiling, it began to cave in. Boulders and square stones that shaped the giant cat head now falling like bombs. The earth screamed in anger, frustration, and pain. Lava began to shoot like blood from every tear in its surface. Aladdin covered his face and let the carpet find its way to the top. It followed the rapidly disappearing stone staircase up to the cat's throat, keeping close as if it was safer. They had almost reached the top when a following stalactite caught the back of the carpet. It plunged down into the stone. Aladdin threw himself and Abu off and managed to catch the end of the stairs at the edge of the cat's mouth. The cave was shaking too much for him to be able to pull himself up and over the side. Like a miracle, the old man appeared. "Help me out," Aladdin cried. "Throw me the lamp," the old man demanded. Aladdin could barely process what he said. It was so insane. "I can't hold on. Come on, give me a hand." "First, give me the lamp," the old man insisted, a wild look in his eyes. Survival won out over logic. Aladdin managed to reach into his sash where he had stashed the lamp and pulled it out with his free hand, holding on desperately with the other. The old man grabbed it and cackled triumphantly. "Yes," he screamed, "at last." Aladdin managed to get one leg up onto the crevice. Abu scampered off his head, making it easier. The old man came forward to the edge, a menacing gleam in his eye. He began to hammer at Aladdin's fingers with his cane. "What are you doing?" Aladdin cried. "Giving you your reward, your eternal reward." The old man, now standing strangely straight, pulled out an evil-looking black dagger and raised it above his head. Abu bit the man on the toe. He screamed but managed to kick Aladdin's fingers. Aladdin tumbled back into the cave, falling into the darkness and lava. A soft thump let him know that the carpet had managed to find and catch him. A quick monkey scream meant he had gotten Abu too. Slowly and shakily, as if the magic carpet was tired and beating up itself, it inverted all three of them to a cliff high above the lava. Aladdin watched in dismay as the cave above them, the stone cat's mouth yawned and screamed one last time before snapping shut and settling down beneath the sands. Aladdin was stuck, sealed hundreds of feet below ground, with no way out, no treasure, and no lamp.
So no twist.
He didn't have the lamp.
Yeah, but neither they said that originally, but Abu had the lamp in his pocket. So far we're exactly where we were.
Night, Kenneth H. Sorry.
Good night, Kenneth. Now, this was called Jasmine and a Genie. So this might be where the things happen. We'll see. All right.
Night, Kenneth. Sorry.
Hello, goodbye. All that good stuff. All right. The sun rose above the palace of Agrabah, seeming to dim before the golden white greatness of the house of the Sultan. Princess Jasmine was seething. She had, in fact, been seething since the evening before. since the boy she had been just about to kiss was whisked away by the guards. Since she had stalked back to the palace on foot herself, not caring who saw her. When she had arrived at the palace, Jasmine immediately demanded to be taken to the royal prison, where mostly harmless troublemakers and tax evaders were kept. The boy was not there. She demanded to be taken to the dungeon where thieves, goat stealers, and murderers were locked up. The boy was not there. Losing patience, she demanded to be taken to the secret royal oubliette, where the worst rapists, enemies of the state, and caravan raiders were thrown to be forgotten forever. Reluctantly, a pair of the stoutest guards, armed with 2 scimitars apiece, took her down to investigate. The boy was not there. So she had started questioning the guards themselves. The younger ones, the lower-ranked ones, clearly had no idea about the boy or anything that had happened. Those higher in command were evasive. The ones who had actually brought the boy in could not be found, and Razul was silent on the matter. "My lips are sealed," he said, somewhat apologetically, "by orders of Jafar himself." "He is not an enemy of the state or a spy," Jasmine cried, exasperated. She almost lost her temper and stomped her foot like the angry little girl she felt like. "He is just a boy, a harmless boy who was showing me around Agrabah." Razul continued to say nothing, but his eyes betrayed something at the last thing she said. Jasmine realized with horror where this whole thing and the boy was going. "I was not going to run off with him," she yelled. "Probably. He wasn't going to. We weren't going to." Razul looked uncomfortable. She composed herself quickly. "I will go find Jafar and clear up this immediately," she said, stalking off. "As you will, Your Highness," Razul called after her, but he sounded relieved. Several hours later, Jasmine had failed to find her father's creepy advisor. If she hadn't known better, she would have thought he was purposely hiding from her and her wrath. It was time to go see her father, officially, and make some princessy demands. "He will no doubt be in his playroom," she growled. Then she stopped. "Study," she said, correcting herself. Who knew who was listening? She stalked down the halls, not caring who heard the stomp of her feet in the silk slippers. I didn't know silk slippers made that stompy of a noise, Seething and trying to track down the boy hadn't left her a chance to breathe or change since the night before. Her thick black hair was coming out of its bands. Tendrils waved behind her like snakes. She scratched the side of her nose with a very unprincessy rub of the back of her hand. She had sweated in the hot streets of the market and the quarter of the street rats, and it had dried. The feeling of its still being there and not immediately washed off was new to her. Not bad, necessarily, but new. She threw open the carved doors to the giant airy study where her father spent all his time since her mother had passed away. She sighed as she passed the table with the giant clockwork model of Agrabah, whose tiny water clock really did work, making miniature suns and moons rise and fall with the day. She rolled her eyes at the colorful silk kites hanging from the ceiling that were brought from the Far East and looked like dragons. She found her father with his latest favorite toy, an intricate balancing game that had come from somewhere in the Far West. Tiny carved animals like puzzle pieces had to be placed carefully on top of each other in descending order of size, finishing with the mouse. Currently, he held a yellow duck in his hand and was frowning at it. "Father," she said politely, trying not to startle him. She ground her teeth and reined in her impatience. "Oh, Jasmine," the Sultan said, beaming. He was a fat old little man with a beard as white as the snow. He's Santa Claus! He was a fat old little man with a beard as white as snow on top of far-off mountains. He had been old when he married Jasmine's mother, but the white was less than, merely streaks of clouds on the same dark mountains. His turban was also white and topped with a smooth round ruby and an iridescent blue feather. Cloth of gold trimmed his robes, and turquoise decorated his sash. He paused, taking her in. Her own turquoise pants were dusty and had a tear near her ankle. Her sash was askew. Her top might have been turned just a little. "Dearest, is everything all right?" Jasmine took a deep breath and smoothed back the hair around her face, at least. "No, father, everything is not all right. I slipped out of the palace last night." "Jasmine," her father admonished. She took another deep breath and continued. "And Jafar had his guards arrest a boy who saved me from having my hand cut off at the market." The Sultan blinked. Jafar, she began slowly, had his guards arrest a boy. Your hand cut off, the Sultan said, in something between the outraged yell of a sultan and the shriek of a father. It was a misunderstanding, Jasmine said, waving her still attached hand like it was nothing. A big misunderstanding, she allowed, thinking about it for a moment, like not understanding how things work in the world outside these walls. Money, poverty, the cost of an apple. The point is, he saved me. Jafar did? No, the boy, she said, finally unable to conceal her impatience anymore. A boy, I don't know his name, stopped a merchant from cutting off my hand, and then was showing me around Agrabah, and Jafar had him arrested. You went out of the palace unescorted? Which is probably why Jafar had the boy arrested, Jasmine said through her gritted teeth. But he wasn't hurting me. He was helping me, and he deserves a reward, not to be locked up. I can't find him, and I'm worried. The Sultan looked at his daughter wordlessly for a minute. Well, he finally said, I haven't heard anything about an arrest, but I shall speak to Jafar about this immediately. Thank you, Jasmine said, bowing her head. And while we're on the subject of getting your hand almost chopped off, the Sultan continued, a little bit of a growl in his throat, let's talk about you leaving the palace, unescorted, running away. Well, I guess it's irrelevant because Jafar can apparently track my every move, Jasmine growled back. Ah, yes, I shall thank Jafar for that, you can be sure. Thank me for what, your majesty? Jasmine glowered as Jafar swept into the room, cool as a melon. She had been looking for him all morning, and yet here he was, suddenly, almost as if he had been summoned, dressed from head to foot, as usual, in black and red, pointy-shouldered cape over his robes and high white collar, as if it wasn't high summer in the desert city of Agrabah. Tapping his long staff with the cobra head and its evil eyes, frightening to some, it looked like a bit of a theatrical silliness to Jasmine. At least that stupid parrot wasn't around. On anyone else, the affectation of such a ridiculous bird might have been endearing. On Jafar, it was just another sign of his near insanity. The brightly colored thing often sat on his shoulder all day, sometimes eating the crackers her own father delightedly offered it. And then it relieved itself down the back of Jafar's otherwise immaculate cloak. Long, white, disgusting streaks. That's disturbing.
Wow.
Iago poops on Jafar.
That wasn't in the movie.
No, it wasn't. No one in the palace or city dared say a word about it. Who knew what expensive tapestry it was chewing on or ruining with its mess right then? What did you do with the boy? Jasmine demanded, crossing her arms. What? Jafar looked geniusly confused. The one you had arrested. Oh, him. He's dead by now, I should think. But I came here for something far more important. Dead? Yes, dead. Taken out to the desert and executed for laying hands on the royal princess, or whatever, Jafar said impatiently, waving his hands. Who gave you permission to conduct an execution? The Sultan demanded. Jasmine was barely listening. She had known the boy for less than a day, but could summon his face at will, every detail of it. His large brown eyes that crinkled into a smile so easily, the tiny scar just above the left side of his lip, the way his hair moved when he laughed. And it was all gone now, dust, because of her. Silence, you useless little old man. I didn't come here to discuss the fate of one street rat, Jafar said. Jasmine's father stared, speechless. No one treated the Sultan that way, not even Jafar, not even Jasmine. I came to tell you that your reign, I'm afraid, is now at an end. Watch your tongue, Jafar, the Sultan said warningly. Obviously, there is something wrong with your head today, but when you aren't above accusations of treason, what on earth do you mean? I mean, Jafar said, drawling his words, your reign has come to an end, and mine is beginning. Explain yourself, the Sultan exploded. His face turned red, and he balled his hands into fists at his side. Jasmine forced herself to pay attention. She was still in shock about the boy, but strange things seemed afoot everywhere in the situation. With pleasure, Jafar said. He reached dramatically into his cape and pulled out what looked very much like a beaten old brass lamp. Is this some kind of joke? The Sultan asked curiously. Is it my birthday today? Jasmine was also confused at first. Then, with the hot prickles of creeping horror, she began to figure it out. Her nurses had told her tales of the magic of the jinn and the things that lurked in the deep deserts. She had also read many books of legends herself. The language etched into the base of the lamp was old, very old. As if she was in a story herself, Jasmine watched Jafar do exactly what she knew he would. He took the cuff off his sleeve and began to rub the lamp. At first, nothing happened. Jasmine started to release the breath she had been holding. Then a tiny wisp of blue smoke began to curl up out of the spout. The Sultan leaned forward, intrigued. "Oh no," Jasmine whispered. Suddenly, more smoke poured out of the lamp like bees escaping a burning hive. Jafar held the lamp delicately away from his body. The Sultan jumped back. The lamp began to spark and shake. Tiny lightning bolts shot out of it. It began to scream. Or something began to scream. Something streaky and blue that shot out of the lamp and raced around the room like a wild dog that could fly. Jasmine turned and covered her face. Yow! The screaming resolved into something human sounding. The band of blue slowed down and expanded and became a person. Half a person. Half of a very big blue person with a golden earring and the golden wristbands of a slave. He was bald except for a tiny black top knot held with a golden thong and a beard with a scrolly pointed tip. His eyes were almond shaped and glittery. His bottom half was smoke. 10,000 years, he cried in a booming voice. 10,000 years have I been imprisoned in the lamp. Genie, Jafar said with an oily smile. Genie, it feels good to get out, the genie continued in a more normal voice, stretching and grinning. He spun, feeling the air around him. You know what it's like spending 10,000 years without a massage or a bath or a... Genie, Jafar interrupted. I am your master. Heed my words. Well, here's a man who obviously knows what he wants, the genie said, smoothing what little hair he had on and straightening his sash. Lay it on me, master. Jasmine started sneaking to the door. She kept her attention seemingly rapt on the genie. It wasn't hard. Besides his being so incredibly improbable, there was something also instantly likable about him. Although she knew that jinn were supposed to be more or less exactly like regular people, magical, ancient, regular people, she always imagined them stern, dignified, and vaguely frightened, not charming and goofy. She slipped her hand over the doorknob. It didn't turn. Jasmine frowned. She lightly shook the door, locked, from the outside. It must have been Jafar's doing. I am granted 3 wishes by you. Is that not correct? The sorcerer was asking, drawing out the words with relish. The genie drew himself up and suddenly had on the robes of a scholar. He started to enumerate things on his fingers in a prodigiously didactic manner. Absentively, of course, there are a few provisos, a couple quid pro quos. Yes, whatever, Jafar interrupted. Genie, my first wish is to rule on high and become sultan. Jasmine's jaw dropped. The sultan looked aghast. The genie noticed their reactions and gave a low whistle. Sorry, buddy, he murmured to the sultan. Nothing personal. Looks like your time is up. With a flash of blue, the smoke grew dim. Outside the window, Jasmine could see the sky become dark and stormy like it did before a monsoon. A strange energy filled the room. She felt the ends of her hair lift. The sultan's turban rose into the air. Confound it. What is this trickery? The sultan demanded, jumping up and trying to grab his turban. Jafar, I order you to stop all of this nonsense at once. Jasmine gritted her teeth. Her father didn't seem to understand what was happening. He was so used to being the supreme ruler of Agrabah, he couldn't imagine anything disturbing that. He actually believed he could still order his advisor around. She shook the doorknob again, futilely. She had to get out of there somehow. Jafar still had 2 wishes left and already ruled the land. What could come next? What came next could only be worse. Yes, Sultan, but there is a new order now, Jafar sneered. My order. Smoke circled around him and around the Sultan. As Jasmine watched, her father was summarily stripped of his royal whites and cloth of gold. Soon he wore nothing but his underthings. Jafar grinned while he was kitted out in the finest robes of state by the swirling smoke. Bow to me, he screamed at the Sultan and Jasmine, fixing Jasmine with his insane eyes. There was no escape. That much was obvious. Jasmine suddenly found herself wondering what the boy from the market would do. He had been a natural at thinking on his feet and surviving with nothing but his wits. If they played along, Would that buy them time? Would Jafar swallow their act? Maybe they could distract him and grab the lamp. I will never bow to you, you impersonator, the Sultan spat. Well, there went that possibility. Jasmine wilted it with despair. Jasmine's face turned purple with rage. At any other time, Jasmine would have thoroughly enjoyed the sight. If you will not bow before a sultan, then you will cower before a sorcerer. Genie! The genie, who had been watching them quietly, his blue smoke thumping nervously a bit like a tail, suddenly leapt to attention. I wish to be the most powerful sorcerer in the world. Jasmine should have given the man more credit. Insane, vain, and repulsive he might have been. Stupid he was not. Suddenly things were a lot more difficult. The genie widened his eyes, all the good-natured humor extinguished from them, as if he understood what a terrible, terrible mistake this was. He looked away, embarrassed by what he was about to do. He pointed a finger at Jafar. A billow of blue smoke and tiny lightning bolts erupted from its tip. Hellish red fire climbed over his limbs and entered Jafar's eyes. Now the man was no longer in the white robes of the state, but in robes so black it was more like looking into the void than seeing an actual color. His turban was strange and angular. His cobra staff slithered as if alive and then froze into a sharp ebon-tipped thing. And now, abject humiliation, the sorcerer said, pointing his staff at Jasmine and her father. She found herself thrown down to the floor onto her knees, prostrate before him. Her father protested the humiliation and his nakedness in incoherent, blubbering gasps. And finally, Jafar said casually, stroking his staff, my last wish. Jasmine found herself magically lifted up. It was not a nice feeling at all. She was set on her feet and her hands were arranged in a pious manner. For the Princess Jasmine to fall desperately in love with me. Everyone in the room was shocked into silence, even the genie. Jasmine heard strange noises coming from the back of her throat, like she was about to throw up. No, her father shouted angrily. Jafar sneered and waited. Jasmine waited. She mentally assessed herself. Did she feel different? How did she feel about Jafar? The urge to vomit returned. Jafar's look of smugness began to slowly fade into confusion. The genie coughed quietly. As I was saying before, Mr. High and Mighty, sorcerer of the entire world, interrupted me. You know, limitless powers don't excuse you from manners, your worshipfulness. There are a few provisos, a couple of quid pro quos to your three wishes. He hung in the air, his blue smoke calmly waving back and forth. Jafar didn't say anything, but Jasmine saw the edge of his mouth begin to twitch in anger. Here are the basic laws of magic, students. Listen up. Rule number 1, I can't kill anyone. Rule number 2, I can't make anyone fall in love with anybody else. He looked pointedly at Jafar, then gave Jasmine a kind wink. And rule number 3, which I suspect is not going to apply to you, you don't seem like the I made a terrible mistake, let's bring people back from the dead type. I can't bring people back from the dead. The Sultan looked relieved. He stood next to his daughter and squeezed her arm. It was a big relief. There was no worse fate she could currently think of than being a long-slave zombie to that hideous shell of a man. But they weren't safe yet. Jafar was not someone who reacted well to disappointments. Jafar worked his jaw, trying to control himself. What is the use of a genie who has limitations, he growled. Hey now, the genie said, getting offended. I'll show you what real power looks like. Hold them, genie. Jafar threw his cape aside and strode forward. Jasmine found she suddenly had golden shackles around her wrists, drawing her hands together. So did her father. The genie swooped in behind them, and she found herself compelled to march, trailing behind Jafar. The genie leaned forward to whisper to them, Sorry, you guys seem like a nice couple. The Sultan is my father, Jasmine snapped. Oh, whoops, my bad. It's not so unusual, you know, old kings, young girls, that whole May, December thing. Totally not my fault. Not totally my fault. At least I won't be married to anyone against my will now, not even Jafar, Jasmine said grimly. Yeah, how about we not give Mr. Revengey Pants here ideas, the genie suggested archly. There's a substantial legal and magical difference between forcing to love and forcing to marry. He had a point. Jasmine kept her mouth shut. Jafar continued to the royal balcony as the strange procession passed through the halls. Things changed in subtle and not so subtle ways to the sorcerer's tastes. Flowers disappeared or wilted. Decorative paintings turned black and jagged. Even the stones they walked on became dark and shiny, like polished onyx. Jafar threw open the curtain to the public balcony and glided into it. He beckoned, and the genie shooed Jasmine and her father out there as well. They made a strange quartet: the mostly naked sultan, the blue genie, Jasmine in her shackles, and the crackling with power Jafar. People were running to the square below them from all quarters of the city like ants to a dropped piece of melon. How had Jafar summoned them? The sky swirled madly with the promise of a coming storm, and lightning arced overhead. Not the sort of weather anyone would willingly venture out into. Jafar smiled, his one gold tooth glimmering in the strange light. He raised his staff, waiting patiently for what looked like everyone in Agrabah to assemble and quiet down. People of Agrabah, he said. Although he wasn't shouting, his words echoed off every building. At long last, the suffering you have endured at the hands of the old sultan is over. Jasmine couldn't help sneaking a look at her father to see how he reacted to this accusation. He seemed mildly surprised, and just 2 days earlier, she might have reacted the same way. But since then, she had seen starving children dressed in rags. She had seen organizations of thieves that only existed because there was no other way to make a living. She had spent the day with a boy who had only ever eaten what he had stolen. With the support of the palace guards and an incredibly powerful genie and Princess Jasmine, Jafar, and the new Sultan of Agrabah. If he was expecting a cheer with his arms uplifted, he was disappointed. His eyes flicked left and right, but rather than panicking, he continued speaking. I will be a sultan of the people, attentive to your every need. There were a few murmurs from the crowd below. We've heard that before, someone shouted back, hands around his mouth to make his voice carry. Yes, shouted someone else. Remember the wedding? The new sultana promised us decades of prosperity. Jasmine felt her breath catch. Her mother had said that. You doubt my word? Jafar asked thoughtfully. Jasmine didn't like the tone of his voice. The sudden receiving of absolute magical power didn't seem to do anything to stabilize the sorcerer or quell his violent tendencies. He raised his arms again, brandishing his cobra-headed staff. Jasmine and her father drew back. Let me and my first active sultan prove my good faith. He cast an eye back at the genie still looking a little shocked by the turn of events, distractedly wiggled his fingers. The clouds cracked apart with lightning. It began to rain, a golden rain. Small golden coins fell out of the sky and tinkled on rooftops and cobblestone. There was a gasp from the crowd. Then people were diving for the money, holding their hands in the air to catch the coins, grinning. Jasmine turned her face away, repulsed by the show of greed. When the initial rush was over, they finally began to cheer. Long live Jafar! Jafar visibly relaxed, finally getting something that he really wanted out of the day. After a moment, he turned to the three standing behind him. He put a hand on the old sultan's chest. There you see, he said with a sneer. That is real power. And then he pushed the sultan over the balcony. What?
Wow.
I want to keep reading, but I can't because I've got to save that for next week.
Yeah.
He pushed the sultan over the balcony.
Talk about a cliffhanger.
Yep, that's kind of like
well, that's a twist
today.
Wow.
Anyways, yeah.
So it's almost like we sort of jumped to the final act of the movie.
We have the first, we have the end. We lost the middle. Shove the over.
Yeah.
And then shove over the sultan, apparently. So.
Wow. I didn't see that last sentence coming.
I didn't either.
Thrown over in his underwear. Exactly, sparkly pink. Yeah. VP came in. Hey, VP. See. Well, we found the twist, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep. Twist it is. It's actually called A Twisted Tale too, right? That's what these books are called.
Yes. Yep. So next week we have Genuflect, Show Some Respect.
Which is right out of the song.
Yep. And then the Plans of Jafar, The Fate of the Jinn.
Interesting.
Wow, we're not even halfway through this book.
Oh no, not at all. We're only doing 2 chapters a week, so
yeah,
it's going to take a few weeks.
Yeah,
but I like it. I like it.
I do too. That's pretty good. Yeah, I'm glad we reached the twist.
Jafar's a little more evil in this.
Very much. And who knew that Iago pooped on his back?
Yeah, I know. That's a bad one.
That was not in the movie.
Nope. But they said nobody dared say anything. Well, I guess it answers that question. I mean, Iago's got to go somewhere. He might as well just go. He's an actual
maybe just
bird.
Cartoon versions of birds don't.
So.
Yeah. Thank you, Debbie. And hey, Debbie. I hope y'all are enjoying this.
I enjoyed it.
If you want us to go back to reading it not on stream and just talking about it, we could do that. But I enjoy the reading.
I like reading it better.
I do too.
Because I clearly don't read ahead of time. I read it while I'm reading it. Because otherwise I would have known that coming into it. So
exactly. So next week we're back to a little more normal page sizes or chapter sizes.
It's some long ones today.
Yeah, we had these were pretty long chapters,
but very entertaining chapters. I think
yes, and like I said, this is where the big twist is. So
and that cliffhanger, man. Did the Sultan really get pushed? Does he fall? Does he die? What happened? We don't know.
Exactly. Because Genie can't bring him back from the dead if he's dead. So
it's true.
Yeah. I kept thinking at the beginning when he came out of the lamp, the whole scene in the movie.
Yeah.
And all the Robin Williams-ness.
Yep.
But that got cut off pretty quickly. So I'm wondering how Aladdin and Abu survived. Then, luckily they still have the carpet and they're on a ledge. But yeah,
but maybe they didn't survive. Maybe this is a story of just Jasmine.
Maybe
everybody leaves her by balcony or cave.
Yeah.
Entertaining. I like where the book's going. I'm not gonna lie. I think I like the fact that it's darker. I like the fact that it's a story we don't really know. I don't know. I like it.
And it's I think this is pretty well written for both teens and adults. Gonzo! Hope you're having fun, brother.
I got to hang out with my Gonzo.
Yep. Looks like a lot of fun. Glad y'all are having a good time.
I didn't even know they were here until the last minute.
Yeah.
Not sure they knew they were here till the last minute.
Wendy B says, I didn't get to listen to much this evening. House guest in from Germany. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Planning beach menu and trip for Thursday, but I love hearing it when I can. I agree, Steve. Unknown and a little darker.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Steve, send him the picture when you can, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought Baker was going to send it to you. My bad. I'll send it right now.
That was good. That was good. I'm really liking this book. I'm glad we went with this one. Um, so,
Yeah,
I
it's a
like
good
that.
one.
I like that we have movie night and book club, so we got something a little bit for everybody. I think so.
Yeah.
Um, so we'll we got puzzles going too. I'm working on the Aladdin puzzle right now. So
Oh, it's ironic.
yeah. Um, how are y'all's days today, Windy B? Windy B, it was a long one.
My days are fast. I don't like it. But I'm so when we have new hires, they go through a training process, weeks long. We train people forever.
Mm-hmm.
The guy that normally does that got hospitalized and isn't there. Apparently, they think I'm the one that's going to be competent enough to figure out how to do it because nobody else knows how to do it. We had 5 people that were supposed to start this week. So
Wow.
I've been trying to do that and my other job at the same time. And these are all day things too. So I sit with these people for like 6 of the 8 hours of the day. But yeah, it's been very interesting running back and forth, trying to figure it out. So
Yeah, it was. I was telling Steve Windy before when we started the stream, it feels like it should be Thursday at this point. But
wow. Yeah, and I don't think you should. I don't think you should rush it.
Yeah. But tomorrow's Wednesday, so we will be halfway through the week tomorrow. So that's good, son. We'll have this and that tomorrow night. And
oh yes.
Joy. Huh?
Oh yes, we will.
Yeah. Joy S will be on tomorrow night too at 8:00. Tina, who was here earlier, will probably be on at 5 tomorrow. And then we'll see if there's a late night chill tomorrow night. I'm not sure. We'll see. Stacy asked, have either you or Steve checked out the new show on NBC called Irrational? It premiered last night. It's really good.
Got no
Or
desire.
Jesse Martin, who is Joe West on The Flash.
Jesse Martin's also in one of those Law and Order shows or something like that. But he's a good actor. I just have zero interest in that show. I didn't think it looked very good at all. Not for my interest.
Joey says someone pretty cool has a birthday tomorrow.
Someone pretty cool has a birthday tomorrow?
Yep.
Cool's a relative word.
Oh. He's pretty cool.
Somebody very irritating sometimes. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, wow.
Somebody likes to pick on me all the time.
Somebody that sent me some wonderful Kit Kats.
Yes, which I was going to tell you, we need to set something up for that. He wants me to do that live on your stream.
Oh, okay.
So we got to set something up here.
We can do that.
No, he's awesome. I love him, but it's just, fun to give him some back. He goes out plenty.
I have an idea.
You do?
Yeah, I do. And y'all tell me what you think.
That's scary.
Yeah, I know. The girl child picked up some more of these for me. So we'll have the return of the minifig game coming soon.
As soon as in like right now?
No, not right now. These are the duplicates that I opened the other night. But maybe tomorrow night, maybe Thursday night. So, I have 4 duplicates as of right now because there may be more duplicates. I have 4 duplicates. I have Cruella, Prince John, the Queen of Hearts, and Miguel from Coco. And I have 2 Agathas from the Marvel series. I thought about using those as part of the giveaway for the charity stream.
Nice.
Coming up, if that makes sense or sounds like something.
Sounds like it makes sense.
So, yeah. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But otherwise, that's about all I got cooking tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. New episode of Ahsoka dropped a little while ago, so that's out there now.
Yep.
I think there's just tonight's episode and next week's are the only 2 remaining. Last 2 episodes. So Wendy B.
No, she didn't get.
Thank you, Wendy. Bless your heart.
Wendy's amazing.
You'll need more books for minifigs in the near future. Well, thank you, Wendy. That's amazing. You're wow. That helps a lot. I really appreciate it, Wendy. Yeah. You shouldn't do that, but thank you. Not liking that series as much as I thought I would.
Me either.
Ahsoka?
Yeah, we had that discussion, and then I had that discussion with Kelly tonight too.
Yeah.
It's not getting very good ratings. It's not getting it's not getting ratings or views. But Kelly told me tonight though that what everybody's saying, the last episode was really good. So I'm gonna continue to watch it.
Yeah. I don't think it's I don't think it's The Mandalorian, but I'm kind of enjoying it. It's something fun to watch. I'm enjoying it. So
yeah.
I'm also working my way through Big Bang Theory. I'm currently
nice
in season 9.
9 already?
Yeah, about to finish season 9.
What? How many are there? 12?
Yep. 11 or 12. Yeah.
Cool.
So, and then I'm got to find another series to start. So there's always something to watch. Joey says she likes the Marvel series way better. Really? Stacy says they picked up 6 individual boxes of the Marvel minifigs yesterday, and we got 2 new ones and 4 dupes. Ray liked the duplicates, though he says the extra, although he uses the extra to make other minifigs. That's cool. Stacy said that they ordered a box, Steve, like I ordered. Yeah, and got the exact same 6 in each in their boxes.
That, if you order them like that, I think that's the way it's going to come.
Yeah. So, yeah. Weenie B says I could never get into Big Bang Theory. I tried a few times. I'm digging it. I don't know why, but for some reason the science humor cracks me up. But
yeah, I love Big Bang Theory.
Yeah. So, I think we're going to keep our October movies as they are, Steve.
We already changed one of them.
Do we change signs?
Yep. Haunted Mansion.
Oh, that's right. Haunted Mansion. There we go. Yeah. Okay, good. No One Will Save You is a good movie, but
Creepy.
yeah. So, I thought about going back and watching ER at some point.
ER.
Yeah. I haven't seen ER since it was on air. I thought about going back and watching a couple
for a
of
shot.
So, yeah, Haunted Mansion comes out this week, and we'll watch. No, it comes out in the 1st of October, and we'll watch it that Sunday night. Next week we have Raya Sunday night. So. And I haven't told Steve, but there's a chance. There's a chance that not this weekend, but next weekend may be the return of Name That Tune.
Ooh, interesting. There's a chance. So you're telling me there's a chance.
There's a chance.
Doesn't mean it is, folks. Just a chance.
So, yeah.
You know.
But otherwise, I think we're going to call it a night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm okay with that.
I appreciate everybody hanging out. I hope you all had a good time. Enjoyed book club tonight. And we'll see you back. We'll see you back. If not tomorrow night after this and that, then Thursday night after Corey. So,
yeah.
We'll see. So, hope you all have a good night. Sleep well. Have a wonderful Wednesday. Happy Hump Day, everybody. Hey, we read about camels, and we're at the Hump Day tomorrow.
Oh man.
I don't know where that ties all together, but there you go.
I'm not sure where you're going with that either, but we were gonna leave it well alone.
I was thinking of the commercial with the Hump Day and
what day is it?
Yeah, exactly. Do what you need to do.
Say goodbye.
Thank you, Wendy B. I appreciate it.
Bye,
glad y'all enjoyed it. We will see you again soon. Take care. Love you all. We'll see you. Bye.